Hello there and welcome to the TDR News channel. In today's episode we're going to be talking about what has been going on behind the scenes with the dev testers and the big man developing the TRACKDAYR game. In today's video I'm going to be showing you guys a little bit of what has been going on and the stuff that we've been working on the game. So without further ado, let's show you guys. Today's topic is going to be covering the rider animation and more specifically the procedural animation. So all those animation that are trying to cover the bike moving underneath the rider, the bike kind of kicking up the rider, and it's not something that has been done just for the motocross bikes, because as you know guys, TRACKDAYR, it's not a motocross game, it's a motorbike game. So we are trying to cover all of the disciplines and all of the aspects. We're gonna start off with the road bike, and I'm gonna try to show you guys what happens when you go into the braking zone and you go hard on the brakes. The rider pulling up for the arrow is actually done by the trigger, but the foot, it's an automatic thing, and as you can see, he goes with the foot out. And then there is also another animation that gets triggered. The faster you go, the more the rider is going to tuck. I'm gonna try to showcase it right now. We're gonna put the bike into gear and then we're gonna slowly leave, and you're going to see the rider, from this position is going to tuck his elbows and get into a more racy position. Let's disable the pit limiter. As you can see, the rider moving. I am not very good with road bikes, so I might not give this game mode justice yet, but hopefully in the future I can get decent enough to show a good lap around this. So yeah boys, as you can see, the work that has been done, it's starting to polish up the game quite a bit, and it's starting to give me a little bit of interest actually on the road bikes. I've never been a road bike kind of guy, but I think I should start playing this game mode a lot more. So let me know down in the comments below if you want to see more road bike content. So I think this is going to pretty much cover... Oh Jesus. I think this is going to pretty much cover the road aspect. So we're gonna go over to the MX side of things, because there's actually been quite a lot more work done there, because we do have actually the terrain which is bumpy and stuff. So let's go over to the MX side. Okay, so here we are in the MX side. So the first thing that I'm gonna want to look here is that we got a new riding position. If you remember, in the old build, like the standing position wasn't like the previous. We kind of had a little bit of a weird position of the pelvis and the back, and even though you could kind of tweak it in the garage mod, it was still acting a little bit weird. So we do have a new standing position and a new sitting position, and everything is a lot more polished and a lot more precise to how the new standards of the real world riding position. Other than that, there's also been work done, as I said before, in the procedural animation. And what does it mean? It means that when you go hit bumps, hit hard landings, hit compressions, the rider is not just gonna stay standing completely still, and it's going to work its way around and absorb all the bumps. As you can see right here, I'm not doing anything with the controls. This is all done by the procedural animation, as we pretty much die on the Arco triple. So this work was done to again polish everything, make everything a lot smoother, a lot more natural, and actually improve the riding sensation, because the rider has an effect on the bike. The rider weight changes the way that the bike reacts to stuff. Rider changes the way that the bike handles, and the way that you crash, and the way that you go around in the ruts and in the rough terrain. So all these rider animation are not just visual, but are actually physical as well. So the rider bouncing around and absorbing is actually doing something to the overall physics of the game. And we're still kind of working on it a little bit, polishing everything up and making everything super precise. But I can tell you, boys, right now that this really gives a whole new feeling to the game. As you can see, the whips are also improved, because we have started working on it in the ground, and then we are just starting right now to work on it in the air, so the transition between ground and air and stuff like that. Also, one other thing that I want to add, me and the big man and also the other dev tester worked quite a lot in the MX side of suspension, on the suspension side of the dirt bikes, because we did have a little bit of an issue before where the bike was kind of bouncing a little bit too much, and it was making the overall feel of the game a little bit unpredictable and not really super precise, especially in the rough sections like this one, or maybe braking bumps and stuff like that. So I have to say that we made quite a big step forward on that as well, which is something that I'm very proud of. Actually, I really appreciate it. And also, one other thing that has been worked on are the new third-person cameras, which, if you have downloaded the new Major, you might have already seen like the changes. We also have quite a bit of changes to the first-person camera personalization, which I'm going to show you guys right now. So you just go into the first-person camera, and then you grab the F1 button, and as you can see on the screen, you have all the settings that you can tweak. They are quite a bit of settings. I think I'm gonna have to do a dedicated video on that. So if you guys are interested, drop the comment down below, and I'll make sure to do a full tutorial on how to set up your first-person camera. You can also reload the old camera. You can save the new one. And one other thing that has been touched on are the three third-person cameras. As you can see, by pressing 1, 2 and 3 on the keyboard, it's going to switch from the different modes of the camera, and every mode it's quite a bit different, as you can see. And as I try to do something there, but to be honest, right now my favorite is the #1 camera. I don't know why, I just kind of like the overall feel that it gives me when I'm playing. It's a little bit lower, and I don't know, I just feel like I prefer the first one compared to the other two. So I would suggest you guys try the first one and let me know what you think, or let me know what your preferred camera is. And yeah, also one other thing that is in the procedural animation stuff that has been added is the counter leaning of the rider. So as you can see, when I'm leaning the bike over, the rider is going to counteract the leaning, and it's going to pretty much give weight to the outer peg, which in dirt bikes, when you're leaning, when you're cornering, you really want to give all the weight to the outside peg to have a lot more stability. So this is actually what's gonna happen in the game as well when you're cornering, and if you don't move the rider, the game is going to recognize the leaning angle and just kind of do it on its own, this procedural animation. But there is another thing. If you don't want that, there is no problem. You can just move the rider as you wish, and it's going to override the procedural animation, and you're gonna be able to pretty much do whatever you want. So this is not forcing, this is not a help that it's going to be able or disabled. So you're just going to, you know, If you want it, you're just not going to touch the rider stick, but if you don't want it, you're just going to you know, play as normal and just move the rider around. And as you can see, even if I'm cornering and I move the rider, it's just going to go underneath the bike, which I think is a pretty good compromise, because especially for whipping and stuff like that, you really want to see the rider just kind of go underneath and stuff like that. So I think this is going to be covering everything for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions regarding these updates, drop a comment down below. Remember to subscribe to the channel, join the Discord for TRACKDAYR to stay up to date with all the latest updates and the latest hotfixes, major builds and stuff like that. I would also like to remind you guys that we do have an official racing league, which is the MX TDR Championship, which I am gonna try and race maybe this week or next week, depends on the time schedule. So I'm going to leave the link for that as well. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and until next time, take care, boys.